Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain, and welcome back to Queen of the South. On the Impossible Dreams, we look to win the Champions League with our Scottish club, and today it is a summer transfer special as we move from Season 4 into Season 5, and it's going to be an important summer for us because we finished last season very, very well indeed. Look at this final run in of games. We beat everybody out in the post-start split, including Rangers and Celtic, so we don't, in theory, based off that, we don't need to change too much. But we know that when we were playing in Europe, we were bottom of the league at one point. We really did struggle to play in Europe as well as compete in the league. So we do need to get some squad depth in. We haven't got our budget as of yet. I'll let you know what that is, obviously, once we get it. And well, I think what the goal for this summer is to try and get squad depth. What I'd like to be in a position to do is where some of the guys, say Clark at right back, that were first choice last season, we strengthen in that position. He becomes second choice rather than first choice. So that's what I'm looking to do. Goalkeeper, we know we've got. Actually, what we should do is show you what we know is happening, especially in terms of ins. We know that Harry Stone is coming in to be will compete anyway with Eastwood for the number one shirt in goal. We know that Andy Irving has turned his loan into a permanent move, so he will be coming in. We know that Bayliss is coming in, my thought is he's going to be a Mazzella for us to compete with McPherson. And we know that Bermudez, his loan is becoming a permanent deal as well. So that's what we know is happening. And, well, there's a lot to do, isn't there? So let's get to it. Alright, so we have got our budget, and very, very nice it is. 5.5 million essentially to spend, and 79 grand in wages. We'll have a look at what that means to what we're already spending. But some bad news now. I was thinking we needed to upgrade the facilities this summer. Given that they've now been downgraded, I'm going to say that is becoming a little bit more urgent. So that means that the facilities that they're average, which I think is what they were anyway, wasn't obviously not. That may not have maybe updated just yet. So finance-wise, we have 7-8 million in the bank. We have about 10 grand a week more to spend in wages, and obviously we can move some of this transfer budget over if we need to. But we need to now upgrade these training facilities, don't we? So hopefully that request will be granted, and I'll certainly be fighting to make sure that that we do get those back up to what they were. Okay, so thankfully the board have decided to upgrade the training facilities, the senior facilities, which is good. Less good is they have declined to improve the youth facilities as well as youth recruitment and youth coaching. So I guess 1 out of 4 is not bad, right? Alright, a quick update of the league as it's all wrapped up. It is Dundee United being relegated and Inverness coming up. Absolutely smashed. 5-1 in the first leg, 5-2 on aggregate. So Inverness will be joining us in the Premiership next season. And if you're wondering about the Scottish Cup, that was won by Rangers. How do we get to that? Scottish Cup, it was 1-0 in the final in extra time. So that wraps up the domestic season. Now we've got some awards. Shakir Omar has been the Scottish Players' Young Player of the Year. It's probably the second time he's won that, so well done to Shakir on that. Is it the second time he's won that? It is. He's just a wonderful player, isn't he? So the Shakir Omar has also won the Scottish Football Writers Young Player of the Year, so the players and the writers like him. I've won Manager of the Year, well done to me, and that is that. So no players in Team of the Season. That seems a little harsh, does it not? 1 second here. So here is the Team of the Year, and it is a Rangers and more importantly, or more specifically, a Celtic clean sweep. So I feel like we're worthy of somebody in there, aren't we? But it's always just for the most part been Rangers and Celtic's only getting worse as time goes on, isn't it? So there we go. And all seasons, that is the team of the Scottish Premiership so far. There we go. That's the league season wrapped up. Let's get to some transfers. Oh, another Manager of the Year. I wonder when they'll knight me. Hello? Joe Lewis. I've been expecting your call, mate. Yep, look, I know that I promised you that you would play as a no-nonsense centre-back, but that's just not the way I do things. Well, look, mate, in my defence, I only promised you that so you would sign. Well, if you want to be a dick about it, mate, then you can go. So there we go. Joe Lewis has asked for a transfer request. I completely expected this because I did promise him he could play as a no-nonsense centre-back, but he was capable of playing as a regular centre-back, and it was working well. So yeah, that's what we did. We played him as that. I mean, from his point of view, he's got himself a bit of a home here at a good level. He's played well. He's in the first team. Just go with it, man. Just go with it. But we've got some other options at centre back, which we didn't have at the start of last season. Sorry, we know that where we go down here, we have Jamie Hamilton, who we signed, who is very, very good, and we also have, of course, where's our young Brazilian? Oh, he played the last game, didn't he? So we have other options now, which is absolutely fine. So he can go if he wants, and we'll get somebody else in. That's not a problem. The other thing, which I can't remember if I mentioned or not, but Sean Goss, I did end up extending his contract. He'll be a backup deep-lying playmaker for us. So yeah, he's going to stick around for 2 more seasons. And yes, I did promise him that. So maybe I'll keep this promise. Okay, just a very quick update. It's June 1st, which means our contracts have expired. So we've released some players. The main ones you will have heard of, Callum Gribben, just never quite worked out for us, unfortunately. So he's been released, as has Hendry. He got an extra year for this year, but he has moved on now that his contract is up. Ben Elliott, I never got him to develop, unfortunately, so he has left. And then we have a young goalkeeper who started at the club, and also Jack McLeod, who came through one of the early youth intakes. He was just not leading to anything. So those are the guys that have been released. And if we look at the club finances, we have what do we have? $9,000 a week or so to spend on wages. So we're still in a very decent position there. And I've moved some of the transfer budget over into the scouting budget. And what that's enabled us to do, if we go and have a quick look at scouting, and I think we're going to go here to see it. We're scouting the world, basically. So that is, I never use this screen to find players. I only use my scouts if you are new to the channel. And well, the scouts are headed all over the world now. We have breaking news out of the Scottish Premiership this evening as Motherwell and Queen of the South trade defenders. Now for more, we cross live to local reporter Willie Melgrew. And Willie, there's a fair bit of cash involved as well. Aye, the boy Joe Lewis is off to Motherwell for a wee 70 grand, whilst in the other direction is Andrew Locker joining Queen of the South for £1 million. Okay, so some transfers have taken place. Joe Lewis has left 70 grand. He went off to Motherwell. Would have liked to get a little bit more for him. There was a little bit of interest, but I couldn't get. That was the biggest fee I could get up for him. So yeah, he has left, and he did well. He did well this season. I'm not going to badmouth him, but anyway, he's gone to Motherwell. And the news that we have got, it's a little bit as we just catch you up here. We've given some extensions to some players whose contracts are up at the end of this next season. So Joe Hardy, who came through our academy, I think. He was out on loan last season. Josh Dunn, who we saw right at the end of last season, we've extended him. We've also extended Brian Marshall, who came through our academy. And of course, he had that serious viral infection, which he has recovered from. If we keep going up here, there's one more extension to catch you up on, which is just here for Cameron McPherson. Very useful player for us. So he's going to be here for another 2 years. And of course, he can play at or cover it right back if we need him to. But the signing that we've made is this one, Andrew Walker. £1 million up front, an additional $1 million if he plays 50 games. So basically, if he's a success. For Motherwell, we've signed him. He's signing as an important player on $1,200 a week. And let's have a look at what we've signed here. He is a very good young centre-back. What I like about him, apart from physically, he's quite a good jumping reach, good tackler as well. There's room to develop, as you can see here, but also leadership. I do think if there's something in the squad we're lacking, it is leadership. Now, he's not going to be a captain this season, but I'm thinking 2-3 seasons down the line, he could definitely step into a leadership role, either captain or vice captain for us. So I think he's going to do okay. He has played in the Premiership last season with Motherwell and averaged over 7. He was been out on loan and averaged over 7 as well. So as an 18, 19-year-old to be able to do that, I think we're going to get him just as he starts to hit something along his prime. The issue maybe is bravery, but we'll just throw some eggs at him and he'll get brave, I'm sure. Now, it is January 9th, which is when the transfer window opens. So we've also got Harry Stone in. That deal has now been completed, so he has joined the club. Out has gone, obviously, Joe Lewis. Also, Ross Doohan. What's he worth now at Spurs? Not for sale. I can't believe he went to Spurs on 25 grand a week. And Harry Cochran has left as well. And I think with the departure of Harry Cochran, that is now all of the originals left, which is sad. I do like to try and keep them around as long as possible, but yeah, I mean, Queen of the South, when we took over, were would you call them a struggling championship club? We're now at the top of the Premiership, so it only makes sense, I think, that most of them had to leave. All right, a quick European update. We can see here the Scottish Premiership has dropped 13 places in the competition rankings. That doesn't actually mean that much. It's just the star rating side of things. So, I mean, it's not great. We might have even dropped the star rating, it looks like. But, I mean, like I say, it doesn't actually affect that much apart from maybe the players you can abstract in that. But Queen of the South, we've moved up 123 places to 142nd. So that was a very, very convincing season for us. If we go down and have a look, what was it, 143? Ish, there we are there, 142nd, so 15 coefficient points. We are defending nothing, so any point we get is going to be a bonus, and you'd like to think we will find ourselves inside the top 100 this time next season. In terms of transfers, I am still working on things. We're doing our best. It's June 15th, as you can see. Once, would we get to July 1st, isn't it, when sort of the English and sort of main Western Europe, or I think most of Europe, at that point, their contracts expire. So that'll then give us a little bit of a chance to see what is actually going to be available. As things stand right now, though, just the million we've spent on Walker. Okay, we have another signing joining the club. Dominic Thompson, a fullback. We signed him from Portsmouth for $500,000, potentially rising by 600,000 if he plays 50 games. So basically, if he works out for us. He's 24 years old, so he's sort of in the prime of his career. We're going to be paying him just under $6,000 a week as a squad player, 2-year deal. You can see the other ins and outs of his contract there. And let's have a look at him. And there's a couple of reasons why I've signed him. He is marginally better, he's a little bit more than marginally better than Max Melbourne. So as a backup or to provide competition at left back for McCallum. The other thing I like about him is that he is left-footed, and we could use him in midfield as a Mazzella because he's got the dribbling and the crossing. Passing's not too bad. So I think he's going to be a useful squad player, even if we were to get somebody long-term or in the, even later this window as a better option at left back. He would still have a use in the squad as a Mazzella. So, and I think $500,000 up front is not the worst. And if, like I say, if he's a success, we pay the extra 600,000. If he's not, then we'll sell him on, and we should get at least our money back, I would hope. So we can see that we did actually, if you've been with the channel for a while, we did actually have him at Brentford. You can see he's sort of been around League One, and he's played well in League One. Now that should make him, I would think, a decent enough Scottish Premiership player. I would hope anyway. And I think around better players, he'll actually look better because he can get up and down that left wing for us and, hopefully do a good job. Okay, we are at July 1st, which means windows open, and we have got 2 more players that we had previously signed. So Tom Bayliss has shown up, which is good. I think he could be a useful midfield player for us. And also showing up is Andy Irving, of course, who was on loan with us last season. So he has joined now permanently from Crystal Palace. And we have set a record transfer fee received. That is for Connor Bailey. I've always called him Bailey. Every time I went back to edit, and I was calling him Bailey. Thankfully, he's gone. So 600 grand. He's gone off to Mallorca, which is, as I say, a record for us. So I believe we signed Walker for a record fee as well. So we've broken, but try that again. We have broken both records this window. And of course, we're not done yet. July 1st means there's players out of contract. So I'm going to go and see what we can do with those. All right, we have another signing, and it is a striker, Bekir Suljic. I think you pronounce, I don't know how you pronounced it, but £850,000, so just short of our transfer record. It's a B- rated fans by the signing by the fans, I should say. Just under $2,500 a week, and it's a 4-year deal. You can see he can improve a lot, so hopefully we're going to see that improvement. He signed him as a regular starter, and you can see the other ins and outs of his contract there. But let's have a look and see what we've signed. And although it says he's a striker, I think he could almost play, well, anyway, from midfield forward. He's right-footed as well. Now, there's nothing stopping him, I don't think, from playing on the right wing as much as the left wing cutting in, to be completely honest. But what I don't like about our squad right now is Shakir Omar and Lutzi are fantastic, but we don't really own any strikers of our own. They could get called back at any point, not get loaned back to us, things like that. So Clockety is a promising striker that I think will be a good one for us. Outside of that, we're sort of looking at Bishop, and a couple of youngsters that may or may not come off. So I wanted to get our own guy in. We've done that. He's more of a deep-lying forward. You can see he's got good passing, good vision, teamwork is all good. So I think he's going to be useful for us, and I'm hoping that... he'll play, which he should do if we're in Europe particularly, so we should be able to fulfill the regular starter requirement. He's played in the Scottish, he's played in the Croatian Premiership or Premier League for the last few seasons. Last year, 15 games, 6 goals, averaging a 7.02 as an 18-year-old. Is he 20-year-old? No, it's maybe a little bit disappointing, but he's fairly determined. I'm hoping, as I say, that worst case scenario now, we've got our own striker in, and if Shakir Omar and Lutzi go to get randomly called back, at least we have someone to call our own. All right, 2 pieces of news to catch you up on. The first is Mitch Clark has signed a contract extension. It's roughly the same money. The reason we had to do this is that he had a release fee of just over $500,000, and Hearts were getting very, very close to triggering it. And I'm really, really having trouble finding fullbacks. So I didn't want to lose him, even if he was slightly disappointing last year. Potentially, he is quite good. And while we're talking about disappointing fullbacks, we've signed another one. Kieran Freeman on loan. I was trying to do a permanent deal for him, but I just couldn't quite agree a fee with, I think it was Watford, yeah. So we've got him in on loan. We're paying his $5,000 a week wages. Is there an option that we have to buy? There's an option to buy at the end for $300,000 if we want. We won't be doing that. But this is what we've signed. He's kind of here as think of him as this season's Bradley or Brady. He's not quite as quick, but he's a little bit better technically in terms of an attacking wingback. So he'll provide a little bit of cover there for Clark. He's got a good work rate, so he should go up and down all game. And so he's decent stamina as well, isn't he? So yeah, he's back up. He's got a good cross on him, so hopefully he'll do a job for us if we need him to. But yeah, like I say, not necessarily the sort of player I wanted, but he's, as I say, fullbacks, I'm really having trouble finding them. So he comes in to be let's not call him a backup, let's call him a competing right back. All right, we are at game day of the first day of the Premiership season, which of course means an end of the transfer special. We do have our first European assignment. It is FC Turku of Finland, so that is something that looks, you'd imagine, quite winnable for us. I don't want to count chickens, of course, but I think we'd fancy ourselves there. Now, if we have a quick review of what we've done, we have to go back to the end of last season. We know that Harry Stone came in on a free transfer as a goalkeeping option for us. Andrew Walker, he was the big headline of the summer. A very good young central defender. And Dominic Thompson as well as a left wing back option. Of course, you can see the guys that left there as well. Jakaviti, of course, relegated at his new club. And if we go over to this season, Andy Irving, we know, signed on a permanent deal. We got Tom Bayliss on a free transfer at the end of his contract at Derby. The 2 other signings we made were Soljic, we'll get there eventually, a young striker, and also Kieran Freeman on loan, and we'll just kind of see what becomes of him during the season. And the outs, I think most of these I caught you up on. We have loaned out a couple of youngsters. The main ones, Jamie Watson, the main ones, I say the ones that might actually make it into the first team. He's gone off to Annan Athletic. Mackenzie has gone off to, where did he go? East Stirlingshire. And Ben Summers, who we saw quite a bit in the first team last season, he has gone off to Kilmarnock I think they're still in the Championship. Yes, they are. So hopefully he will get some first team football there. And of course, Connor Bradley went off to Mallorca this summer as well. So we've actually not spent too much. I mean, it is $1.5 million over the page, but let's not worry about that. But we're roughly on track. And if we look at the finances, we do still have 1.6 million. I've had to put money, as you would imagine, into the wages, and we are roughly at our wage budget. But obviously, there's still a little bit of wiggle room there for us if we need to do that. Now, the squad we have. And there are parts of it I'm very happy with, and there are parts of it I feel are a little thin. If we start up front, as I always do, our striking options, McGrath, though he is probably going to play a little bit further back. The main ones will be Lutzi. We have the new boy, Bakir. We have Clockerty, who is, I think, going to continue, hopefully anyway, to develop this season. You can see he's rated as a promising striker. the man himself, Shakir Omar, back for one more season at least. Hopefully not more than not just that, but you can see his value, and not just his value, but his wage at Atalanta it's getting to the point where it's prohibitive. Is that the word? It'll stop us from signing him permanently. So yeah, each season I fear now might be the last one we have Shakir for, but hopefully not. We do still have Bishop around. I toyed with the idea of selling him. His contract is up at the end of this season and he's 28, but I still think he has a use to play for us. We have two youngsters who I would love to get out on loan as well, Michael Mellon and, why is it doing that? And Marshall as well. So hopefully we'll get those two out on loan. Number 10s, this is where I think McGrath will have more of a role to play. That's going to do my head in. We have Bermudez as well, who is permanently signed for us. And then a couple of others. The main other guy here will probably be McAllister. You can see he's transfer listed. I'm trying to sell him. We've just got no takers right now. So hopefully that will resolve itself before the end of the window. A little bit further back in midfield, McPherson, who is going to be more of a backup option for us this season. We've got Andy Irving. We've got one of the new boys, Thompson, who can play in midfield. We've got Reece Lyon. I'm just going to stay there then, game. I'll teach you. And we've got Joe Hardy as well, who is, I think he got injured, didn't he, last season? So he's coming back, and we'll see if he goes back out on loan or not. We've seen McGrath. We've seen Bayless, have we? Anyway, we just saw Bayless as a new signing. Dunn is still around. We'll try and give him some game time. Farrell is another young player, though. He needs to go out on loan and play. I think physically, I think he's a shambles, and I'm not sure he's ever gonna make it, even if he is only 18. Other players, club captain Davenport, he will captain us this season, and the other players here are Sean Goss, who we've got back as for another season, and another of the youngsters that came through last season in the youth intake. We've caught him into the first team, and I am trying to train him as a right wing back as well. So, but he is right now maybe a little bit better suited for midfield, but we'll see him back here. Centre back, and it's not the depth, but we do certainly have the quality. I think Andrew Walker, the new man. We have Cesar Augusto, the promising centre back from Brazil that we signed. We have Bernard, who was actually the Scottish Premiership signing of the season, not just our signing of the season last season. We have McKenna, who's still around as a fifth option, and of course Hamilton as well, who is I think very, very good. If you move over to right back, McCallum can play here, but he's left-footed predominantly. He'll play on the other side. McPherson, again, can play over here. I think it's the lack of pace is what hurts him, and maybe the jumping reach as well, but he's an option. Mitch Clark will be the main guy for this season. Providing him with competition, as I said not that long ago, is Kieran Freeman. And the other youngster that did okay, and he's sort of trending down right now, but was going the other way last season, is Paul Frame. So we'll keep him in the first team. He's only 16. If we can get a bit more pace and physically get a little bit more into him, there might be a decent player there. He can tackle, positioning's not too bad, and he can kind of cross as well. So we'll see what happens with him. Over on the left, we've got McCallum. That's where he'll predominantly play. As left-footed options, we have Dominic Thompson and also Max Melbourne, who's still around. You can see he's surplus to requirements. I would like to sell him, especially for that $4,000 a week to get that back. Again, his contract's up at the end of this season. What I don't want to do is piss him off so that he becomes essentially useless for us. For the sake of $50,000, we might just keep him for the year as a third option and then let him go at the end of his contract. But again, we'll wait and see what happens there. Goalkeepers, we have two main ones. Jake Eastwood, who is, to be honest, I couldn't find anybody better than him. He's decent enough, and Harry Stone, of course, who's come in to provide him with some competition for that shirt. So that is what we have. Let me know how you think we'll get on this season. Pre-season, now we've played some competitive games all away from home, and the only game we lost was the last one against Werder Bremen. That was very much sort of a second string side. So, we've beaten Bilbao, we've beaten maybe Bristol City's not the greatest example, but draws at Schalke and Ajax and Marseille. It's not going too bad, but we'll be back next time for Rangers away, a nice easy start to the season, and then we'll play the first leg of a European tie. I'm thinking that might hopefully be a done thing at that point, and then we can go on to the next round for episode 2 of the season. But that's all. As I said, thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, let me know what you think we need to do. I'm hoping we finished last season good. Hopefully we've done enough just to strengthen a little bit. Take care.